Hello everybody, my name is Carly Cheyenne and welcome to my channel. It is the beginning of October, which means one of my favorite holidays is coming up, Halloween. I mean, I love Halloween with all the cute decorations and the snacks and the movies and the activities and everything just spooky. I have also loved dressing up in fun costumes every year for Halloween. However, today we're going to talk about something really important. So we've all seen the conversations on Twitter, Facebook, social media, in the news, blogs. People are still dressing up as Indians for Halloween. I know so many out there in the comment sections are saying, oh, it's just a costume, get over it, or I'm honoring you, or I'm Native American myself and I don't see the problem. Well, today we're going to talk about the Indian costumes and all of my thoughts on this matter and why it's so problematic and where do I even begin? First of all, Hollywood. Let's start off by talking about how many celebrities have dressed up as Indians for Halloween, and not even just on Halloween, but in their performances and photo shoots and in their music videos. Like we got Ellie Goulding, Paris Hilton, Nicole Richie, Hilary Duff and her boyfriend, Aubrey O'Day, Alessandra Ambrosio, Carly Kloss, Perry Edwards, Kesha, Outkast, Gwen Stefani, Jared Leto, Mary-Kate Olsen, Giselle Bundchen, Liv Tyler, Heidi Klum, Kris Jenner, Khloe Kardashian, Kourtney Kardashian, with a tweet captioned Pocahontas vibes, and David Guetta's one music video called Me I'm Famous, and Vanessa Hudgens, to name a few. All those other celebrities that I named all have one thing in common, and that is that they're very well known and they all have very large fan bases. So with that comes the younger fans, and younger people are so easily influenced by their favorite celebrities. They begin to start talking like them and acting like them and dressing like them. So when they see their favorite celebrities dressed up as an Indian, then they'll think that it's okay too. And that's kind of one of the ways where people start dressing up as Indians for Halloween. Then there comes the music festivals, then the family photo shoots, then even kids' birthday parties on Pinterest. To take this even one step further, Hollywood has always been whitewashing natives for decades. Like in Wind River, they casted an Asian American actress to play the main native girl role when there are so many incredible, talented, hardworking native actresses out there who could have played that role. Also, remember the whole pan thing? Yeah. With all of that rolled together, we're merely seen as a prop or as a theme or as an accessory with the hashtags boho or free-spirited, when really we're actual people with real history. Other people see us as this thing of the past when really we're still here. We're alive and well, and we're still very strong in our culture. And while we're still on the topic of Hollywood here, let's talk about the late actress Misty Upham. Misty was working on top Hollywood movies with A-list actors like Benicio del Toro, Meryl Streep, and Julia Roberts, and she even got nominated for a Screen Actors Guild Award. She was well on her way to becoming one of Hollywood's top native actresses until she was found dead in a coulee in Montana. The police say they have no persons of interest and they don't find her death suspicious. So it goes to show that Native women can work really hard and make something of themselves, but still those stats are there, and any Native girl can be targeted simply because she is Native. Now, let's talk about the costumes themselves. I mean, if I were ever to go to a powwow or a ceremony or anywhere dressed like this, I would be disowned. Dishonor on me, dishonor on my family, dishonor on my cow. Let's just visit some of the websites, shall we? Spirit Halloween has over 1,200 locations in North America, and according to the website, whether you want to become a chief or a princess, Spirit Halloween has Indian costumes that will make your Halloween dreams come true. Carry out the tribal spirit as you travel through the town as a happy trick-or-treater in a traditionally inspired Indian costume. Gather all your friends for a powwow and end Halloween with a celebration. Ugh. Now, 2 years ago, a group called the Saskatchewan Coalition Against Racism entered the Spirit Halloween stores and placed warning labels on all their Indian costumes. The first read, "Warning, the items contained in this package are offensive and promote the sexualization of Indigenous women and peoples. Please avoid contact with these materials." And the other, "There are well over 4,000 missing and murdered Indigenous women and girls in Canada. An inquiry is being pursued to address this issue. It takes everyone in Canada to fight against sexualized violence. That starts with outfits of this nature." Well, that following Monday, the labels were all removed and Spirit Halloween released this statement. "Understanding certain sensitivities, we always strive to present our costumes in a responsible and respectful manner. While we respect the opinion of those who are opposed to the sale of any cultural or historical costumes, we are proud of our costume selection for men, women, and children. We have not directed any of our stores to remove Indigenous-themed costumes from our shelves, nor do we plan to have these costumes removed," said Lisa Barr, spokesperson for Spirit Halloween. Another group started protesting in these stores, and they started placing labels on these costumes as well. The group placed educational stickers on the merchandise, and the police charged them with $1,500, and they had to pay on the spot or be arrested. Years later, we're still stuck with the same problem. Even a store in Calgary is being questioned and people are protesting outside there. Major retailers are still selling these costumes on Party City, Spencer's, The Costume Shop, Amazon, eBay. Also, people are starting to make their own, and they're making hundreds of dollars on handmade sites such as Etsy. These headdresses were some of many for sale, starting at $60, and some of them had over 500 ratings, meaning hundreds of people have bought these ripoffs. And they make costumes as well, and they are well into the hundreds. Another site called Yandy recently made waves on Twitter by removing their Handmaid's Tale costume and releasing this statement. Yandy has always stood and will continue to stand at the forefront of encouraging our customers to own your sexy. We support our customers being comfortable in their skin regardless of who they are and what they choose to wear. Our corporate ideology is rooted in female empowerment and gender empowerment overall. Over the last few hours, it has become obvious that our Yandy Brave Red Maiden costume is being seen as a symbol of women's oppression, rather than an expression of women's empowerment. This is unfortunate, as it was never our intention on any level. Our intentional inspiration to create this piece was through witnessing its use in recent months as a powerful protest image. Given the sincere, heartfelt response, supported by numerous personal stories we've reviewed, we are removing the costume. Yandy.com. And let me repeat a part of that statement. Over the last few hours. Whereas we've been talking about this for years. Last year, the chief financial officer of Yandy, Jeff Watton, responded to the public saying that their costumes pay homage to Native Americans and they won't stop selling them because they're the money makers. Watton told Cosmopolitan magazine that Yandy made $150,000 from just the Native American line alone in 2016. To put that in comparison, sexy schoolgirl outfits made $135,000 and sexy maid costumes made $50,000. He also said, in quite possibly the worst apology ever, the company won't stop selling them until it gets to the point where there is, I guess, significant demonstrations, or it gets to a point of contentiousness that maybe is along the lines of the Black Lives Matter movement, where you have major figures in the sports world going to a war of words with the president. Then it's become too hot of an issue. I mean, come on, it's nowhere close compared to how sexual and disgusting and disrespectful that their Indian costumes are. They also mentioned that a sexy Black Lives Matter costume was brought up, but honestly, thankfully, they shot that down. Before we continue, I just want to say a disclaimer. I get that people see that the handmaid's costume was offensive because in the show, women are forced to bear children for rich families. And I applaud women and men for standing up against rape and women's oppression. And I'm really glad that people found inspiration in The Handmaid's Tale, because it really brings up a lot of conversations about women's rights. But this story is based on a novel, a Margaret Atwood novel, a fictional story, whereas Native women in real life are the highest demographic to get sexually assaulted. So I'm glad this costume got pulled because of the connotations behind it. However, why can't they do the same for the Indian costumes? Okay, so on costumesupercenter.ca, the first thing I noticed was that 15 Native women costumes out of 31 were sold out. Let's just read some of the descriptions, shall we? Woman's Sexy Indian Hottie Deluxe Costume. Any tribe will want to make you their chief when you're blazing trails in this woman's sexy Indian hottie costume. This sultry ensemble includes a corset, shorts, and a headband inspired by traditional Native American fashions. Everyone will want to invite you to their teepee for powwow when you're dressed as a naughty native in this woman's sexy Indian hottie deluxe costume. Woman's Sexy Noble Indian Sweetheart Costume. So sweet. You'll never look better than when you're wearing this woman's sexy noble Indian sweetheart costume. You can join absolutely any tribe that you want. They'll all accept you in when they see you in the outfit that you're wearing. Put on the matching headband to complete the look and head on out to hunt and gather some men. This incredibly sexy costume is going to make that very easy as you give yourself a Native American look that just can't be topped. Indian Maiden Adult Costume, $152. A sure way to spice things up this Halloween is to sex up a favorite story like cowboys and Indians. Ew. The cowgirl bit isn't your style, so you'll go for the Indian and channel Sacagawea or Pocahontas for your outfit inspiration. There is no other decision to be made besides getting the woman's elite Indian maiden costume. As an Indian chief's daughter, you will wear a lovely brown tunic dress with a lot of fringe detail throughout and printed beadwork design. Your mission is accomplished, you got the woman's elite Indian maiden costume, and all of the cowboys will want to capture you. Those descriptions alone are one of the reasons why this is such a big issue. So as I mentioned, Native women out of any other race are more likely to be sexually assaulted or murdered. Native women face murder rates 10 times the national average. 90% of Native women experience violence in their lifetime. Native women experience 2.5 times more sexual violence than any other women. 1 in 3 Native women will be raped in their lifetime, and 86% of the assailants are non-Native. Indigenous women make up 4% of Canada's population. However, 16% of women murdered in Canada were Indigenous. In the US, there are over 600 missing Native women cases, despite making up only 0.4% of the state's population. In Montana, more than a dozen Native women went missing in 2018 alone. Native women make up 30% of the missing person cases in Montana, despite the fact that Native women make up only 3.3% of the state's population. The scarier thing is that it can even be more than rape or murder or kidnapping, but also trafficking. More than 90% of sex trafficking victims in Canada are from Canada. So they're not being imported from all these other countries, they're being recruited right here in our country. The Indigenous population in Canada is only 4%. However, more than 50% of all sex trafficking victims in Canada are Indigenous. So lastly, these costumes make a mockery of things that we hold sacred. This can show all non-natives that probably haven't even met an Indigenous person in their life that this is what we look like and dress like and talk like. For us, ceremonies and powwows are healing and they're our religion. Headdresses or war bonnets have to be earned and given ceremonially to those who have accomplished something great in their lifetime. Not just anyone can wear these. I can't even wear one. I myself am a jingle dress dancer and I've been dancing since I was a baby. Every color and design has a meaning, and some outfits have been passed down for generations in some families. When my people hunt traditionally, we don't waste a single thing and everything is distributed to the community so they have food for the winter or they can have hide for their outfits. We don't hunt just for show, it has meaning to it. Feathers are really sacred and they can't even touch the ground. If a feather falls off of a dancer's outfit during a song, they have to step out of that circle and wait for the song to end, and then they have to go get an elder to pray for it before they can even pick it up. Not to mention, making an outfit can take months with the beading and the designs and the sewing. And something that a lot of people don't know is that a lot of our things that we have were deemed illegal from the government. With the signing of the Indian Act, the government wanted to completely assimilate us and make us a Christian society. In doing so, sun dances, potlatches, powwows, all of our celebrations were illegal and banned. A lot of our traditional items were confiscated and stolen, items such as bundles and pipes and outfits, and those were sent overseas and those are still missing to this day. Then they made residential schools where they stole all the children from all the reserves and tried to assimilate them. They cut their hair and gave them ratty clothes like prisoners. They were banned from speaking their traditional language and were punished for it, the only language that they knew, and they're only allowed to speak English. Brothers and sisters weren't even allowed to speak to each other. If they ever disobeyed the rules, they were severely beaten and punished in the most inhumane ways. Over 150,000 First Nations children were forced to attend these schools, and thousands were beaten, thousands were raped, and thousands have died. This carried on for years under the government's knowledge, and actually the last residential school closed in Saskatchewan in 1996. Less than 100 years ago. This all happened less than 100 years ago. Under something called the pass system, people weren't even allowed to leave reserves. They had to get special permission from the Indian agents just to leave the reserve for even a day. So parents weren't even allowed to go see their children in these schools. The pass system carried on until the 1950s, and nearly all the documents were destroyed, so the government tried to sweep it under the rug. All of this created a ripple effect that First Nations people are still dealing with to this day. So how does this relate with Halloween and residential schools and the Indian Act and missing and murdered Indigenous women and all of these other issues? Well, with Indian costumes being so sexualized and normalized, non-Native people get to take these off at the end of the night, and Indigenous peoples don't. When we're celebrating our culture, we're deemed evil and everything's illegal and we're more at risk for rape and death. We're the ones who have to live with these statistics, and we have no choice but to ask the question, am I next? So obviously this isn't just about the costumes, it's not about Halloween, but this is about the facts that are there. And the images that these costumes convey add harm to what our people face and still face to this day. So overall, outfits like Sassy Squaw or Reservation Royalty isn't a harmless joke. It puts targets on our backs and adds to the factor that we're the most vulnerable demographic. The normalization and the sexualization of these insensitive outfits erases all these facts and puts Native women at an even greater risk. So while they may never be banned, we just have to keep talking about it and learning from it. So when you put your child in a powwow princess costume, think of all the Native children who died practicing their real culture and wearing their traditional clothing. Or costumes like this, think of the 4,000 missing and murdered Indigenous women and girls and their families. And if you do want to wear something to honor Native people, then buy something authentic from actual designers or artists. There's so much out there like Nike and N7 where they give back to reserves and give them sports programs. There's also stuff you can buy from Stephen Paul Judd or Section 35 or Bethany Yellowtail or Shane Watson Designs. We have a lot of really talented Native artists out there, so instead of supporting some fake artist who profits off of our culture, think of buying something authentic next time. And for Native youth out there, keep practicing your culture and be proud of who you are and where you're from. Our people and our culture are so strong and so beautiful, and we're still here for a reason. Don't let those statistics discourage you from reaching for all of your goals, because your people are here supporting you and we're always behind you. Thank you so much for watching. I'm hoping to make more educational videos like this. So if you like this video, leave a thumbs up and don't forget to subscribe and share this video if you can. If you want to see me tackle more subjects like this, then leave a comment below on what you think I should cover next. And if you're a Native YouTuber as well, put your channel link below, because we need to support one another and we need more Native YouTubers out there. But I hope you enjoyed this video and hopefully you learned something. If not, watch it again. Again, thank you so much for watching. I'm Carly Cheyenne. Bye for now.